Donald Trump's administration is filled with idiots, grifters, idiot criminals, idiot grifters, and sometimes you get a combination of all of them, the idiot grifter criminals, like Kash Patel, who's not just one of the dumbest members of Donald Trump's administration, but has also done some of the most damage to our country. He is so bad at his job that now Donald Trump is recognizing it. And while there has always been a bit of strife between Kash and other members of Donald Trump's cabinet, it is really beginning to escalate after his latest idiotic move blew up in his face and is catching Donald Trump's attention in the worst way. We're going to get into the MAGA civil war and all that is wrong with Kash Patel. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the idiotic move that Kash made that now has Donald Trump and Pam Bondi turning on him, I want to start with how Kash Patel is wasting your money during this shutdown in which Donald Trump is refusing to feed hungry kids.
Back in 2023 and 2024, when the current FBI director was working as a podcaster obsessed with cleaning out the deep state, slashing government spending, he had one specific idea about how to do it.
Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
Go take their money. Chris Wray doesn't need a private jet.
We're not the guys running around on private jets. And somebody maybe in Congress should ask for how many flights on a private jet Director Comey took, or my predecessor Director Wray took, and how many personal trips they took.
Don't knock it until you try it. That's what I say about private jets. The use of government jets for personal travel by former FBI director was sort of an obsession of Patel's for years. In 2023, Patel called former director Chris Wray a, quote, government gangster for his jet usage, which is why it was surprising to see Patel repost this photo on Sunday of him in his FBI-branded hoodie out on a date with his country singer girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins. Now, Wilkins was performing at a Penn State sporting event on Saturday. And if you're wondering how Kash Patel got there to support her, well, public flight logs show he took a taxpayer-funded government jet. Later that night, that same jet flew from Pennsylvania to Nashville, where Patel's girlfriend lives. Now, I should know, FBI directors are required by law to use government planes for security purposes. It's a point Patel raised in May when Senate Democrats last inquired about his jet usage.
Oh, this is a great point. Do you know why I have to use a private jet? Because Congress made it mandatory.
Okay. In April 5th, well, we didn't make it mandatory that you go to UFC games with Mel Gibson.
Are you telling me I can't go home?
You got to use some judgment here.
I love the logic there. I had to go to the event. So what, I'm supposed to stay there? Well, you don't have to go to every event. Patel's lack of judgment when using a taxpayer-funded plane for private excursions during a government shutdown on the eve of SNAP benefits running out is really just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have seen members of the Trump administration taking advantage of government perks, like DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who spent more than $172 million on private jets. Now The Atlantic is reporting that officials like Stephen Miller, Noem, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and others are living in homes meant for generals on military bases. They say it's for security reasons, though they already have personal security details. And in the past, those people with those jobs didn't occupy these homes. They all seem to be taking Trump's cues. They can help themselves to the public till.
Tens of millions of Americans are losing their food assistance. And Kash Patel is on a private jet to go hang out with his girlfriend, who's probably a secret agent. Like, she's probably Mossad. There is no way that Kash Patel, with the way he looks and the way he talks and the way he acts, has any interest from any women. It's like I was shocked that, Stephen Miller had a wife until I heard her speak and kind of saw her face go like, and just be like, I'm going to deport you. And I was like, oh, nope, that tracks now. But Kash Patel, get the fuck out of here. I don't believe this. But this is the administration of jets and of waste. They talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. Kristi Noem is spending like a fucking medieval prince, blowing all our cash on her Botox, on her jets. Donald Trump loves jets. He's spending billions of dollars to refit the one he got from Qatar. And that's their focus. It's not doing their job. It's not keeping us safe. The opposite is actually the case. Because as Kash Patel takes all of his cues from Donald Trump, one of those cues is overusing Twitter. and it is getting us into some deep shit, and it has now gotten Kash Patel into some deep shit, and I want to take a look in this article right here. Pam Bondi blows up at Keystone Cash for terror bust boasts. FBI Director Kash Patel has caused frustration within the Trump administration after he touted a terror bust before agents and prosecutors could get their facts straight, a report alleges. Among those allegedly peeved at the embattled director, already under fire for jetting to watch his girlfriend's concert and visit her city on a government plane this week, is Attorney General Pam Bondi and her deputy Todd Blanche, sources told MSNBC. Patel, 45, posted to X at 7:32 a.m. that the FBI had thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. The director did not share additional details about the attack in Detroit, Michigan, suburb of Dearborn, but promised there would be more to come. Patel's rush to take a victory lap mere hours, if not less, after agents made the bust did not sit right with some officials in the Bureau, sources told MSNBC. The network's Justice and Intelligence correspondent posted on X that senior FBI officials are frustrated that Patel's announcement went public before a criminal complaint was prepared and before key details were clear, including what exactly this plot entailed. The FBI did not respond to a request for comment. Patel posted later Friday that a violent plot tied to international terrorism was disrupted. He wrote, "This is what defending the homeland looks like. Vigilance saves lives." The Bureau released no other details about the foiled attack or those who were arrested. MSNBC sources said the plot involved a group of young people, some of whom are minors who had been engaging with online Islamic extremist content. MSNBC noted that none of these detained were immediately charged. Friday was not the first time Patel has ruffled feathers in the administration by seemingly jumping the gun on an arrest announcement. Patel was widely ridiculed in September for announcing that the FBI had arrested a suspect in the assassination of the right-wing commentator Charlie Kirk. A man was detained mere hours after the attack, which Patel blasted to his millions of followers on social media, but was ultimately released and determined to have no involvement in the slaying. The FBI's actual murder suspect, Tyler Robinson, was not taken into custody until more than 24 hours later. And with all of this, multiple sources close to Donald Trump have acknowledged that the president has not been thrilled with some of the past episodes of Patel's performance, including, of course, his feud with Pam Bondi over the administration's hiding of the Jeffrey Epstein case. So Donald Trump isn't happy with Kash Patel being a moron, which is kind of funny because, obviously Kash Patel is a moron because Kash Patel is a moron, but what he's trying to do is serve the audience of one that this administration is always after. Everything they do, every stunt they pull, everything they say is for the benefit of Donald Trump's ego. And so if Kash Patel is putting us in danger with what he's saying, maybe we should just make it clear that he's putting us in danger because of Donald Trump's ego. We have such a big fucking baby in the White House that everything has to be about him, and it is always putting us in harm's way. Whether it's shutting down the government to prevent the Epstein files from coming out, making 42 million Americans food insecure as they see their healthcare premiums double and triple. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck because he's building the big baby ballroom. That's what he wants. Big baby Donald's ballroom. That is the focus. But it is terrifying to me that the worst people who have ever served in government have access to some of the scariest technology we have ever seen used by our governments and are using it to attack their political foes. And one of those ways, the surveillance that is being implemented by this police state Trump administration, is incredibly worrisome, and it was broken down by Rachel Maddow right here.
Cell phone spyware called Pegasus. It's spyware that infects your phone. They target your phone. You don't have to do anything wrong to be infected with it. You don't have to click on anything or do anything. They infect your phone with this spyware without you ever knowing it. Your phone shows no sign of it. And once they have infected your phone, they get access to everything that is on your phone and everything that you do with your phone. They can access its location at any time. They can turn on the microphone to hear what's happening where you are. They can turn on the camera to see you and what's around you. They can see all of the photos on your phone, all of your contacts, all of your messages, all of your notes to self, everything, even stuff that you might think is encrypted. It's not encrypted when you look at it on your phone. If you can look at it on your phone, they will have it. People close to Jamal Khashoggi were found to have been targeted, to have had their phones targeted with Pegasus software before he was murdered. Pegasus has been used to target opposition politicians and activists and lawyers and journalists all over the world, some of whom have subsequently been assassinated by despotic regimes. When this kind of a spyware surveillance tool emerged as a favored weapon for authoritarian governments and murderous dictatorships around the world, the Joe Biden administration banned the U.S. government from ever using that particular spyware or anything like it. Well, then Donald Trump was elected, and the Trump administration has now quietly reversed that ban. And indeed, they have now contracted with a company that makes exactly that same kind of spyware as Pegasus.
I don't want Donald Trump and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem surveilling me at all times. I don't know if that's a hot take particularly, but that sounds horrible, I think would be the word. We need to talk more about this as Democrats. Republicans want to say that we are the party that cracks down on free speech. We don't allow it. Because when a fucking weird right-wing influencer does blackface for Halloween, we say, hey, you're a shitty person and people don't like you and you're not going to have friends if you're a disgusting bigot. And they're like, oh, that's an imposition on my free speech, an imposition on my... Fuck you. You're just a weirdo. All these right-wingers are weirdos. And then they wonder why they wake up with no friends or their family has left them. It's like, oh yeah, if you're a weird conservative dude who's like, oh, a woman should be in the kitchen, while you're making fucking no money and you're ugly as fuck and you're balding and you're a gross person, no wonder no one's going to want to date you. It's the fault of the Democrats, of the left. But what is the state actually imposing itself upon your freedom is when Donald Trump is surveilling you so that if you say anything bad about Israel on your college campus, they fucking ship you off to Louisiana with Mahmoud Khalil and put you in prison. That is an imposition on free speech. And that is what we, as Democrats, as liberals, as progressives, should be calling out. Do you think they're using surveillance technology just because they want to see what's on our phones and hang out? They want to like look at your like what you were checking out on Instagram? Who you're watching on YouTube? No. It's because they want to go after you. And they want you intimidated all the time. So let's call that out. We're certainly going to on this show. If you want to support that and the work that I think we're going to go with, I don't know, maybe Bones and I are doing. I don't want to get too attached to the skeleton because that might be weird. But our former friend Stephen Miller, if you want to support what we're doing on this show, calling out those Republicans who, much like our skeleton friend, are dead inside and out. I don't know if you've seen Kristi Noem's face, but it doesn't look like that is real organic activity happening there. A lot of Botox, a lot of poison. Do you know? I saw another comment that said we should name him 47. For no particular reason? I kind of like that. For no particular reason. Not at all. I didn't say anything. But if you want to support our show, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a... I can't move his hands. Like on this video. If you're stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.